More than a dot, more than a dot.
Welcome to More Than a Dad podcast. I'm your host, Dre Moore. I got my guy, Lewis Mobley, here with me.
What's good?
How you doing today, bro? How's dad life? See, this is what you do to me. Like, you start me off like that, and then I'll be like,
Off guard?
yeah,
How was it off guard? It's the signature opening question.
it is. How's dad life?
Dad life is great. I'm enjoying it, a lot. I still have small kids, you feel me? So every day is a challenge. You see how I freestyle that off the hip? Like, where your freestyle ability at?
It be there, just not with
You used to be a rapper.
how's dad life. Yeah, every time I still got them bars.
Chill. No, dad life is good. I can't complain about it. It's getting warmer. I wish it would commit to being warm so we can start doing more outside things with the kids. But day to day is we're still in the same routine. But kind of getting back on our thing. I know a lot of people know us from Instagram. Me and my wife from like teaching the kids. She's kind of picking that back up again. So
Right.
Osa's about to be 1, so we're getting back into like starting to introduce her to some of the things that y'all probably seen us do with Manny, and then Manny's moving on to more. He'll be 4 soon, so like I guess this whole year is like to prepare him for kindergarten. So we kind of back in our teacher parent bag, totally led by my wife, guys.
True.
How about yourself?
Dad life is good. Everything is going well on my end. I don't have outside of the regular stuff with my kids and they regular behaviors, which what, man? Because you got to normalize some of these things. Sometimes you just got to be like, yo, they regular behaviors. Like to you, that might be like totally insane, whatever they doing, but that's just their regular behavior. So like, I just gotta accept it.
That's funny.
You be held hostage to your children. So like, outside of that, everything is, pretty much the same. So I don't got, like too much new going on with my kids.
All right, well, what we getting into today, man? I don't want to hold them hostage to no boring conversations.
Nah, not at all. We're not gonna do that. We brought the people here for a reason. So the other day you had sent me a clip on the DM on Instagram, even though like I'm sure people in this world do this, but even though we talk every day, you still exchange stuff in the DMs. And it was a guy, and he was talking about how tough times make tough people, like make people resilient and stuff like that. And through your hard work and tough times, you try to create easy times for your kids. So, not even just your kids, the generations that come after you. So in turn, like what you would do by creating easy times for your kids, you would be creating, like weaker people. So I want you to speak to it. It inspired you and you sent it to me.
No, because it's like the mindset, like we just gotta be honest. So like the reason I work so hard, probably the reason you work so hard, probably the reason you all work so hard that watch and listen to us is to give our kids more than what we had or like a brighter future. And like, I've lived my whole life thinking was the right way to look at life, is that I need to bust my ass to get them things,
right,
and give them advantages maybe I didn't have or that they'll need to get, further in life. And to hear him have that perspective of like, the guy that went through the tough time, made easy times for the people in the future that would eventually make it mandatory that their offspring go through tough times, and it kind of like started this cycle of like dang, like if I go through the war, my kid have an easier life, their kid have an easier life, which makes their kid have a harder life. Like I don't think I ever thought about it like that.
right.
Like mind you, I'm over here thinking like, dang, I gotta invest in stocks, I gotta get some real estate, I gotta earn a certain amount of money and save and make sure I'm like dumping a shitload of money into my 401k because I want them to have all that because, my dad didn't leave me all that.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it's like, now I look at it like, dang, like a lot of things that my dad taught me allowed me to be resilient. So I was able to get it without quote unquote a handout or some inheritance. But I'm really not opposed to him leaving me something either, because life has been really, really
Difficult.
it's been difficult. Like I feel like I fought tooth and nail for the things I do have. You know what I mean? So I just think, like, I'm sure you feel like that. Do you feel like that? Like you want to leave them a lot and move the needle for them, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we definitely want to lead the kids something. I never looked at it in that way either until you sent me that, and it made sense. Like the way the guy explained it, like he didn't say it like like it would happen in like one generation or like two generations. Like he just gave an example of like you struggled, so then your kid have a better life, and then their kid has a better life, and then once we get like 5 generations down the line and everybody has forgotten your struggle, then that generation will then have a harder time because they're just not equipped to deal with the thing. So yeah, I never even thought about it because, like you said, our whole mindset was, I don't want my kid to have to go through what I went through. I don't want my kid to have to feel what I felt. So you do these things, you go above and beyond, and yeah, I never really even looked at it. I'm sure like in there, like those things build character because like. Like my mom and them would take us shopping. Like we would just like we go like farm and mill shopping sprees, and like you get whatever you want. We don't really know like we going in here and like these the clothes that's kind of like not properly hemmed and altered. You know what I'm saying? Like you getting them for a discount because like those clothes really weren't like up to the standard of what they should be.
Right.
And now it's like it's your kids, and it's like, man, Polo this, Jordan this, you know what I'm saying? Like they get everything, and like in turn, like we doing this for you because like we didn't have it, but not understand like so that becomes your norm, and then like you probably carry that on, but then the generation that's further down the line doesn't have that appreciation or that humbleness for it that we had because like I'm appreciative of these things that I've been able to buy for myself today because I didn't have them. Now I don't know how like like my kids look at it. They probably take it for granted in a way less way.
Bro, you gotta think about it. What's so crazy for me is like my dad would be like, let's say he'll be like 95 right now,
Right.
or like in his 90s, and my dad would tell me stories about walking to school barefoot, and say he was the oldest sibling. And like he would say stuff like they still chop wood and pluck chickens.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's funny because his brother, I think who's the next oldest, grows up to be a butcher. So
Right.
he farmed animals and he butchered them and all that. And we would, he would always send my dad back with, steaks and chicken and
Right.
turkey and whatever. And you just think about like I'm still, like my kids are still gonna be good because they're gonna hear daddy struggle through me.
Right. It gets too close. So don't forget it.
Right. So I'll be able to say stuff like that. Like, man, you better be grateful for them Jordans. Daddy went to school barefoot for them Jordans. Like, you know what I mean? Granddaddy, you know what I
Right.
mean? So it's crazy to think that way. Like if it gets too far out, like I don't know no stories of my grandfather other than how he died.
Right. That's true.
Like that's
true.
crazy.
Yeah.
Now we talking about like 1800. Like you think about that? You think
Yeah,
about that?
my joint like the same way. Like it's crazy because like, and I be saying that like in like just in my groundedness and like I'm like 4 generations from like slaves in my family.
Wow,
Somewhere in there. Yours probably the same way, bro.
that's a fact.
Because I want to say my grandpa was I know not I want to say my grandpa was a sharecropper. His dad was born. My great grandfather, I want to say, was either born a slave or like slavery like ended like 4 years before he was born.
That's nuts.
So then the person above him definitely was a slave for sure. Like for sure, like guaranteed. And it's just like that again. Your lineage, like slavery, like right there. So I understand, but it just, like I said, it's just a little bit more groundedness because like, and that we about to get kind of make a little turn, but still, I said it about my dad being older. And like probably the same conversations you had with your dad. Like I'd be talking to my dad, and he used to tell me like, man, we ain't had no electricity in the house,
Right.
or like they ain't have no air conditioners, or
Freezers and ice
right,
boxes.
and no, we go to the bathroom outside, and like and it's well water, and it's all of this stuff, and like that's probably like one of the biggest things I miss about my dad to this day, because like every time like new stuff happen, like new technology, like I always just mess with him about it.
Yo, you could do this.
Right, like yo, did you think like it'd be a time when like what I'm saying, like y'all could communicate or do these things? Like now you could like FaceTime and see a person on your phone, and y'all come from a time where y'all had like strings and was like tapping, making Morse code and stuff like that. Like this how they was communicating, like on the rag. Like we ain't even on no top secret military mission. Like this is just it was doing on the deli, and I used to mess with my dad about that stuff all the time.
I
Like,
used to mess with my dad. I was like, man, in Florida, you used to be making smoke signals.
yeah, kill it. Listen, but it's that humbleness to just be like, man, you. He can explain it to you, so you feel like it's close to you.
Right.
Like it's close enough to me where I'm like, dang, I know he struggled with that, or he struggled like that, or like it just keeps you grounded. So like, it's when you sent me the clip, like I immediately understood what dude was trying to say, because you could get too far away from the struggle, and you lose these things. Like we even kind of like see it in the youth today a little bit with like what they deal with, like just as far as like where we come from, like as a people, and like what the focus once was.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But like the parents got younger, so everybody got younger. So now, grandmom is grandmom be in her 30s, 40s.
Wow.
So like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, like not to say that things weren't as drastically different than they are today. Whereas though, like I said, like talking to my dad was like going through a time capsule, bro. You'd be amazed. I'd be sitting there like, man, I used to do what? Never.
Right. See, like that's the thing. Like my dad lived through everything probably your dad lived through. So my dad will sit here and talk to you about the Depression. He'll talk to you about like going the world wars, and he'll talk about like Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. Like you'll be sitting here and you'll be getting this history lesson from somebody that lived through it.
Right. So
Like,
it's different.
I used to think it's a joke how old Daddy was. Like to this day, I'd be like, I was waiting for the person to pop out. Like, yeah, I'm really your dad, but you know, like, no, that was your dad, bro.
Yeah, nah, that's a fact.
No, just to end on the same topic though. So like, do we feel like we creating a crutch for them, or like, are we like spoiling them? How do we like remedy that? Because that cycle seems so real.
I mean, it's only could be like a constant reminder through words, for real, because I could show you, kinda, I kinda could show you, because I kinda really don't want you to have to go through it. So in order for me to show you it, I would have to like do something extreme. Like in order for me to take you back to where I was at, like I would have to make you feel it. So I would have to like lessen the gifts I give you, or lessen the things I do for you, so then you could feel what I felt. And I don't think I want to do that either.
Right.
Like, cause it's
I feel conflicted.
yeah, it is a conflict, because like cause like I said, like even when I think about like us and like how we used to have, like we ain't never have like the fly gear or none of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it was just like, it's embarrassing to be that. And like, do I want you to feel embarrassed to prove a point that mean like to make you value it? Like, or do I? It's a thin line. I think it's just got to be a lot of like communication and reinforcement with your kids. Just a lot of conversation. Like I talk to my kids, and we try to explain to them, the hard work. Like this stuff ain't easy. This stuff don't come cheap. But in the end, like they still kind of like end up spoiled, bro. I'm like trying to like think about it in my head, because like I said about Lil Dre all the time, like he the only kid I know, like he got an Xbox and a PlayStation, like the new ones. Like he don't got the 5, but he got the 4. But he had the 4 and the Xbox Series X when them Jones came out.
That's crazy.
Like we ain't have
2 systems.
Yeah, two. Like it was hard enough to try to get him to buy the new one or the one, um, and I could just see his disregard for a lot of things. And I know like a lot of that is kid stuff though. A lot of that is like some like kids just lose stuff and kids break stuff. So like I could see it, but I don't know if like I don't know if like I want to. Maybe we tone it down. Maybe you get one.
I don't know. My wife always say they not spoiled, they loved, and I'm like, I don't know. We had this big disagreement with my brother and his wife before because they were kind of teaching, like they didn't want to just hand like. Like, let me give you my mindset. Like, I'm not living for me. I'm living for my kids and the ones that come after them. That's how I look at life, right? So, like, I'm going to enjoy some things, but the majority of the work I'm putting in is for them to enjoy their lives a little bit more than I enjoy mine.
Right.
Because somebody got to work, right? Somebody got to move the needle for the family, right? Just to catch up, you know, in the world and in society. But, like, the disagreement was, like, kind of like, you ever hear the saying, like, hey, I can give you a fish or I can teach you to fish.
Right.
And I feel like it's almost in line with what we're talking about with this cycle. Is like, hey, I could like work real hard and leave you on my real estate portfolio just for you to blow it and crash cars and live in mansions, or do you, I don't leave you but much. I leave you one crib instead of 20.
Right.
You know, so you got shelter and you still go out there and figure out how to provide for yourself. But like, to be honest with you, man, like I like, to me personally, I want to compete at a higher level, right? So I want to compete at a level where premier people in the country and in the world are competing. So I think of, I need the finances. I need the, you got to think about a lot of projects, a lot of ideas, a lot of investments don't happen because a lot of people don't have capital, especially where we come from, right? So like I don't want that to be a roadblock. If my son got a great idea for a business or he want to create a video game, I want to be able to financially backing.
Right.
Because he might be a genius, but we just ain't got no money. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but that's the thing.
That's the thing, right? So, like, I don't want to live in this bubble where it's like, yeah, I could teach you how to get it, and that's more valuable than me leaving you stuff. And I'm not sure if I'm into that either. I'm conflicted.
Yeah, because you don't. I mean, it's no guarantee either way, and that's the part that makes it complicated. So like, I don't know. You're right. I could leave you something, and you could blow it.
Yeah. But let's just be honest. The opportunity to blow it is even a privilege. To even have it to blow is even a privilege. Like I lost it and got it back is even a privilege because a lot of us just never get it.
Exactly, and you took the words out of my mouth because that's where like I was going to go, because either way we could still end up in a bad situation. And if I leave it to you, maybe if I leave it to you combined with me giving you some game, then we stand a better chance. I could give you the game and you could just go in a totally different direction. Like we have that conversation off camera a lot about like, you can instill whatever you want in your kids, and at the end of the day, they can do whatever they want to do.
Right.
And it's not anything like, it's not because like you didn't give them information or you didn't give them game or they was void of something or they didn't have something. It's the human element. We're human, and being human, you have the ability to make your own decisions and make your own choices, and you just might be fascinated by something else.
Right.
So I would rather just leave it to them and let them have it. Like I got mad life insurance policies, bro. Like if I die, like they gonna have bread. And I think somebody was saying, I can't even remember who was saying it to me, like what they need all that money for. Like it was like overkill or something. And I'm like, I mean, they have it. They might mess it up. They might not mess it up. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. Like I couldn't tell you that. You can't really predict that. You can't predict.
What if they triple it? Like, why are we only thinking about if it went negative? Like, if I left the kids $1 million and then they turned $1 million into 10, but thank God it was $1 million there if they even had to flip it.
Yeah, that's a fact.
We only always see the other side. Like, yeah, man, you're gonna leave them all that money. They're gonna blow it. They're not gonna know. And it's like you be underestimating folks. Like, because to be honest with you, like, I think I'm responsible enough that if I had to inherit something, I would be 2 times as further than I am now.
Right.
And you vouch for my character. What you think?
I think so. Yeah, I think
so. Yeah, but it's to still have to do the ground level stuff and then still compete, it's been my challenge. Now,
Right.
because I be looking at things like, like I'm not into the handout thing because I know I'm hardworking and I prove hard work. But every now and then it'd be like, if I had like somebody open this door for me, man, I would have unlocked all these levels up here.
Yeah, that's a fact.
Like, you know what I mean? This one gate a little too high. I can't get over this one. But if you was to move this one, I would run through this whole level.
Yeah, you just got to move the goalpost. Sometimes we just be combating way too many things. I know it's kind of like a little separate conversation, but same thing. We just be fighting too many battles. Like, you be getting hit 2,000 different ways, and you really don't know what to combat. Like, you got to think, like, say we in school, you go to school, we don't have the knowledge about credit that we should have. You mess your credit up. You come out of school, your credit is terrible. You in debt because you went to school.
Student loans.
Right. Now you fighting all these now you're trying to get a job. You're trying to stay above water. You're trying to, provide means of your living and all of that. It's all of these struggles. And if having some paper was going to eliminate a handful of those things,
you'll take the paper.
Right. We'll probably be in a better situation versus like, man, I got 4 hurdles I got to get over, and I might get burnt out on the third one, and I never get over it. I never get all the way over it.
No, and who's to say that, like, what you think, you teaching them how to fish, like, they even catching fish like that 60 years from now.
That's a fact.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, all the game, like, the way daddy was, like, fixing cribs, because my dad was, like, a carpenter by trade and had properties and stuff, like, people would probably be like, yo, your dad was rigging up stuff. Like, he wasn't, like, that's what they would say today, basically saying his work isn't,
it's not
standing no more. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
It'd be like, yo, put a lock in the door handle. Daddy might put a latch. Like, yo, you rigging the house up. Like, why is there no locks on the handles?
Yeah, my pop used to say, me and my pop used to argue about stuff like that. Because, my pop used to work on cars. And, like, I ended up going to trade school to work on cars. And, like, they was teaching it's computers. Cars got a lot of computers. Like, he's still talking about carburetors and stuff they don't even put on cars no more. And like, we used to argue all the time because I'm like, yo, you gotta do something. Like, no, you just do that. I'm like, Dad, they don't even do it like that no more. Like, you gonna break something. And he was like, man, you can't tell me I've been working on cars since, start talking to you crazy. Like, I've been doing this since such and such. And like yo, it don't even work. Like you kinda outdated. It's like they it's funny because, like, I used to be trying to put him on, like, technology, like, phone. Like, man, they be making all this technology stuff to, like, trick you. Like to trick you out your spot, like, to make you obsolete. It's funny because I had this conversation with my mom, like, earlier, yes, one of these days. It don't even matter what day it was. I had this conversation with my mom. She was talking about how everything is on the computer.
Right.
So she was like, man, like, I go into it. She's like, man, I remember you could go in to get a job, and you could just go in there, talk to somebody in there. You could fill out a paper application, turn it in right there. She's like, now they're like, oh, you got to go and apply online. Well, what if I don't have a computer?
Yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. I am so pro technology, bro. So it bothers me to hear stuff like that. Like, who filing all them applications? Like why we got to take up physical space in our brick and mortar with a file cabinet for applications?
And that's how you think, because that's what we was raised in. But for her, that's like, man, they just trying to confuse us. Like, they just trying to make it difficult. Because, like, I don't really get down with that.
Bro, who filing all them things? And it's crazy because, even today when you do paper applications, they still put them through a scanner and they still end up with a computer. Like, they still saving it in the cloud. like paper don't even exist. I'm paperless and everything.
I seen a paper application. I couldn't tell you the last time I seen a paper application.
Bro, that's funny, bro. I want to talk about something that's kind of the same topic, right? And I don't know if we ever had this conversation here, and if not, we're going to go on a trip again. About, like, I believe in, like, for example, like, for my family, between, like, my mom and my dad, my brother and I, like, I'm the one that's supposed to move the needle, like, for the family, like, move our wealth, move our family up out of the neighborhood we in. And I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I don't know if you feel like this. I put a lot of pressure on myself to do so because it's not guaranteed that my cousins or my nieces and nephews or my children will be needle movers. Like, who's to say the next needle mover don't come till 2 generations from now? So wherever I stop us at, that's where we stop at. You know what I mean? I want to. It's like if we was in a relay race, I gotta like try to run almost 2 and 3 laps because I don't know the person I hand it off to how far they can run. Because the thing is, you can hand it off, and your kid could be a bum, right? Like we talked about one of the episodes, like he could be a bum, or they could be struggling, or like what I mean, or just working. You know what I mean, like who's to say they just have a regular working job? Cool, but like I know.
Me trying to move the needle.
I'm trying to move the needle for us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I want because to me, in my head is like, I need them to have greater odds. Like I don't like our odds coming from the neighborhood I came from. Like I think of like me getting out of there as like I don't know how I did it. Like sometimes, right?
Right.
So like if I could put them in a better environment where the odds are just a little bit higher that they may not get shot. If I could put them in a neighborhood where the football team's a little bit better, or the teachers care a little bit more, or colleges are actually coming to like offer these kids scholarships, I feel a little bit better about my life. But like, like we got to think about it legit. Like, even if you have multiple kids, say you got 5 kids, like you think you're going to have 5 needle movers? I hope you do.
Negative.
But the likelihood of you having 5 kids that move the needle, move y'all generationally wealth up and down, like in a positive way, like I don't know, like what's the odds on that?
It's probably, the percentage is probably low, bro. I can't, my mentality.
like you got to think about LeVar Ball. That's crazy. He got 3 boys that was basically in the NBA.
Right.
Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's almost like being from around the way and having 3 of your kids go Division I.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, we get that sometimes. Sometimes you get sometimes you get. I won't even say lucky. Sometimes you be blessed, to be in certain spots. But when you are thinking the way that you thinking, like it might not come around again, then you definitely gotta operate. You gotta operate like that because it might just be you. Like it's a lot of things, people gonna just turn and look to you for it. Like you be in a lot of situations and people like, oh, Lou gonna figure it out because Lou the brains behind this.
Right.
And what that probably comes from? It probably just comes from a lot of times in life when things happen, people turn and look at you.
Yeah, for facts.
So it just it's created that because it's like you like in your mind it's like, man, if I don't get the job done, who gonna get the job done?
You got to think about it like this, like like we not that far from Chester Crozier Hospital. Like the dude, the Crozier doctor, like Dr. Crozier, right? He got a lot of land in Delco, especially Chester. Like, say he's one needle mover. That family has land and a hospital named after them. I don't know if they're getting residual off of that or anything, but that's like generation worth of needle moving. Like, that happened with one person. So when I look at that and when I be joking, I'm like, yo, it's going to be Mobley Productions or it's going to be, like, you're talking about, like, monumental, like, invent something,
like
start
it might just be one thing that'll just
like and then like
everybody to the next level.
We fake jealous of like the guy that owns a business and all his kids come through here and work, and some of them are needle movers, some of them are not, and we're jealous of that opportunity. Like, damn, my dad didn't have some big fancy job, he could have just passed me the keys to it when he died,
right?
But that could be a reality for you. My dad had this type of business.
Why do we be mad at that?
Because our situations come much harder than that.
I never even thought about that. That's actually like a good topic. Like, why are we mad? Because, like,
it wasn't us. We envious. You know what I mean?
That's crazy, bro. Like, I never even really thought about. Like, damn. Like, in this moment, I just felt like, and we probably shouldn't even be mad at them about that. Like, I shouldn't be mad because you was gifted something. Listen, and I wasn't gifted it.
As dads, you feel that. Like, yo, that he killed it. He ran X business. He gave it to his son and his daughter to run once he passed. Right? Like, I used to work at a supermarket called Wegmans.
Right.
It's still family owned and family ran. The initial Wegman is no longer here.
Right.
He got nieces and brothers and stuff, people who are still a part of the operation. So when you look at the organizational chart, it'd be like they be reporting into people with the last name Wegmans.
Right.
I thought that was so hard. It made me want to go home. Like, yo, babe, we need to make a grocery store. Like we too corporate and IT. Yo, let's go back to the essentials. We need a grocery store. Let's fill these food deserts in Philly.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but I just thought it was so cool. Like, you know what I mean? To be competing at that level financially in revenue, because the business is booming, of course. And I was there at the beginning of COVID.
Right.
And just to hear like to see some of our revenue stuff, like, you know, and to see like people with that last name still on staff and getting paid and stuff. That stuff was like dang, like I ain't even, like is my uncle gonna fire me?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's how it was when I was at the dealership when I worked at Pacifico, because of course, you know, like it's ran and owned by the Pacifico family. And it's crazy because like you would see the owners every day. Like you would see Carrie and Joe. Those are the two owners. It's funny because like Kerry, like he would be in his office. Kerry Pacifico, he would be in his office all the time. He had like a crazy office, big chair, like real nice office. And then like Joe Pacifico had like a little office, like probably like the size of like a closet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like he was cool, and like he, like you know, rest his soul. He actually passed like before I had actually left there, but he was real cool, bro. Like he just run the owners. Like I think I probably still got his number in my phone, bro. Like we was like had a real like personable relation. Like he was real cool with everybody that worked in there. Like he was real personable, talk to everybody, get to know everybody. Like if you had an issue, he would help you out. Like he used to be, like he used to make sure, like he had like a pet peeve about like keys, how keys got cut, coded and stuff like that. So like if you needed like a key code, you had to come like get it from him and all of that. Like he was still hands on in the day to day. But I said it to say because they got they have Pacifico Ford and down there is Mazda and Hyundai, and like they kids run them Jones, and then they got Pacifico Marple, which is like out like Broomall, and another one of the kids run that. So like, and that thing will be in their family for generations, because when they have kids, they gonna pass it to their kids, and then pass it to their kids, and it's like the same thing, and we'll always have something.
Like you could grow up and be like, yeah, my family's in the car business.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like that's hard. I actually think I got a teammate from college who has a GMC dealership out in Pittsburgh.
yeah, and it's a thing. Like they be you know, it's another thing that you just pass down, and like I don't, and that's just probably like what we really trying to do. So like I don't know if like I need to, you know, make you struggle the way I struggled.
Right. It's crazy, like to like the being from our community, like the overemphasis of like black owned and stuff, right? And it's like the idea is like we didn't even start grasping ownership until
Right.
like recently. That's so crazy. Like I went to college in a time where it like the norm was go to college. Like to be an entrepreneur was like career suicide.
Right.
Right. It was like some untracked thing that like you wouldn't dare to do. You know what I mean? It was like almost like you want to be an entrepreneur, you might as well just said I wanted to be a rapper or something, because it was just like the same odds of you making it. Like, you know what I mean? Which is not true, because you can have very essential careers that are entrepreneurial.
Right. It's a
You know what I'm saying? And has stability. And that's all people think about. If you don't work for somebody, you don't have stability. So like I just don't think like in our community we all was thinking go to college, get a job. We wasn't thinking start my own business, or go get a trade and start my own business, or go get educated, work for them for a little while, then start my own business. Like that is such a, I'm so proud that that's the mindset
that's like
now.
a new concept, but it's a good thing. It's not for everybody, but it's good that a lot of people are thinking like that. It's definitely great.
Because people be like, you got to think, my mom worked 46 years at Airmark, and hold on, 46? Like mommy ain't make it to retirement. I think she was short a couple years of being like 60, 62, 65, whatever the retirement age was at the time.
Right.
Like she never really retired from Airmark. Like she went out on disability and then long-term disability and then eventually got her Social Security. Telling all mommy business, damn.
Right.
But the idea is like, yo, I did 46 years for a company, and when it started, it was this big. So they downtown in the 32 floor skyscraper.
Yeah, John huge now.
You know what I'm saying?
Right there by the
11th Market.
yeah, and they got that other building.
They got another building on the
30th Street, right there
school-
that you
school-
see from the other school kill.
Yeah, so you got to think, like, mommy was there when she was like, they had a little thing off of South Street or something. I started there. Like my mom did accounting work without accounting degree.
Right.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, because they didn't need it back then.
But it's to me, it's like you work 46 years somewhere and you don't own a fraction of that
They
joint.
ain't got no stock. They ain't got no nothing. They can't be. She can't even be in there like, yo, can y'all hire my son?
Bro, and it's funny because that was like one of my resentments when I graduated. Like, yo, mom, you don't know nobody in there? No, I ain't been to work in like 5. I don't even know the people still. Like, she didn't even want to go down the rabbit hole of like.
You gonna be trying to figure it out.
Like, it was so hard to get a job. That's some of my most saddest days in life is that, bro, like graduating college and being unemployed for like 4 to 6 months. But we ain't gonna talk about that. It's a dad podcast. Yeah. But, you know, just as a parent though, like just thinking like, it's beautiful to be able to leave them something. You know what I mean? I don't think I want them to be starting from point A. I don't think I want them to start from point A.
Yeah, that's a fact.
And I done lived all this life, you know, but I'm also very humble and I'm boring. And I know people want to like if I hit it rich, I would spend it all on me. Like, I'm not like that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I probably took half of it, invest another quarter, and then I'll be trying to live off the other quarter.
I mean, yeah, you definitely gotta. That's just like I said. We don't have it to know what it looked like. So like, I want to see what it would look like for my family, even if it made them weaker people 5 generations from now. It'd be nice to see like, yo, we good. The kids good. The grandkids good. The grandkids kids is good.
Yeah, that's a
and
fact.
all of that. So like, we definitely like I said, he said some things that are definitely eye opening, but I think like where we are, like we still probably gonna strive for the same things.
That's a fact, man. Let us know what y'all think, man, in the comments on the Instagram page or in the comments of the YouTube. Do y'all believe in, you know, leaving your kids everything, or, you know, letting them kind of figure it out on their own, or teaching them hands-on more than actually leaving them funds and properties and investments? And
That's a fact.
you know, definitely let us know what you think. We want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of More Than a Dad podcast.
More than a dad.
You know, make sure you check out our merch. We got new merch dropping. Got some new shirts. It's definitely warm, so we got the shirts coming. So check it out.
We appreciate y'all for tuning in.
Man, until next time.
We out.
Join the More Than a Dad family by following us on Instagram, subscribing to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to join our Facebook group for daily questions, motivation, dad jokes, and new dad tips. If you enjoy our podcast, please leave us a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Be sure to like, comment, and share our content with other parents. Last but not least, make sure you check out our new merch. The link is in the bio of our Instagram as well as the description of this YouTube video. We are truly grateful, and thanks for supporting More Than a Dad.
More than a dot, more than a dot.